Hi developers. In this article I'm going to explore the use of Iris Python native in a specific problem, large strings to store, so we are dealing with large content. Why Python native API? It offers an useful way to persist data that you can't have control over the schema, or if the schema changes frequently. And combining the native API with the Iris globals, you can easily use Iris database as a document store. So if you don't remember what are globals, we have some examples here. Okay, we have a global named data with subscript val and this content ABC. The global data with subscript Renato age as an attribute, like here 38. But we can also put all the content inside one node, okay? And I strongly recommend to see documentation. Links in the description. The use case. In my article, making a blog using Python plus Iris globals, I use Iris as the database that persists blog posts, as I wish that the post would be a flexible schema, and I persisted all posts inside an Iris global. After testing this program, I realized that each post was limited to the max size of a global content. Today is around 3 million characters, okay? And to compare, in Wikipedia, it's quite near, okay, 2 million characters. But what if the max length of a global didn't be enough to my use case? Yeah, it can happen, okay? And there is a limitation here. The limitation, as I told, it's 3 million. So you can imagine that an article or any content that have more than 3 million characters, it will give you an error, okay? So you have to work with this. How do you solve this problem? So on the documentation, it recommends for large strings to break into parts of a global, like this example here, okay? So instead of use just one node, you can use the global with a subscript to break in smaller parts, and after this you can concatenate again to use on your program, okay? So to solve this problem, we have some requirements. We have to have Docker on your operation system, and we have to run InterSystems Iris community version, okay, in a container. You have to have any text editor. I'm using the PyCharm here. You have to have the Python 3 and the Iris native API. Here is the link to download this one, okay? So let's code. Let me open my PyCharm. So, before, let me show you that I have a container with the InterSystems Iris community version running. We have some ports here. The super port on 9091 and the management portal here. We can see here, okay, here we have the management portal, okay, on the port 9092, like the container shows to us, okay. And getting back to the code, let's start with the max global length. I can put here the number that I was showing to you, around 3 million, but we have a lot of work to count the characters here. So let me start with 20, okay? So we import the Iris native. This one is that one that I mentioned we have to download. So I have downloaded here. This is the place that I download, and I install, pointing to this place, okay? It's quite simple. And we import the Iris native. Here we are open a connection. So we have the host, the port that we use, the user, Oh, sorry. This is the namespace, the user, and the password. Okay. We at the first access we have to change the password. Okay. So I had already changed it here, and after open a connection, we have to instantiate a iris object. Okay, using this connection open. Here we are set to use the iris object and the use the iris database. Okay, so I create this function to persist big strings. Okay, it receives as parameters iris object, value, and global array. The global array, let me get back some to you understand better. Global array is the name of the global and the subscripts. So here we have a global array with 2 items, data and vol, and here we have data, vol, and 0. Okay, this is a global array. So it's a tuple. And let's see more here. Okay, what we will do here? First, we kill the global. Okay, we erase, and after this, if it exists, right? And after this, we get value that we put here and broke into smaller pieces. Okay, and after broke, we just persist the partial value in a new global array, and this global array will be the subscript. Okay, this is the other method, the other function here. Get, we have the set that persists the data, and we have the get to read the data. So we have just to have the iris object and the global array here. Okay, and we get the node and interact inside this, concatenating, and we just return this concatenated one. Okay, so and here we have a test. Let we start with 20, and we have a string with more than 20 characters, right? So if we run this one, we have here again the same string, but we are printing the get method. Okay, so we already set inside the iris, and after this we read and print here on the screen. Oh, let me show better. Okay, but just to confirm here, we can see on the management portal, we have to switch to user namespace, System Explorer, globals, and here we have my big global, as we see in the code. Okay, right? So here we have it broken in 2 parts. First one with 20 characters, and second one with the rest. Okay, so if we change here to be more visual, we can change to 5 and run. Again, we have the same result, but if we display here, you can see better that we broke it in 5 parts. This is the first, the second part, all in sequence, all generating subscripts, sequence subscripts here. Okay, so this is simple, yeah, really simple, but it's a good start to understand what is the globals, how to deal with a iris database using the native API. Okay, and now we can see how easy for a Python programmer can be interact with the iris database. Only connecting the native API to an iris database instance, anyone can stay a few lines of programming to persist any data in a key value like database. We can use this to persist data in content management systems, make document storage, configuration. You can think in YAMLs, JSONs. Okay, if you have a big JSON or a big YAML, you can use this code to make this, and a lot of challenge in non-structured data that can show in our developer life, right? So thank you to watch. and bye bye.